So one big mistake that people are making when they are whistle training their dog or putting dog's recall on a whistle, and the reason for this is I think maybe they just don't understand maybe how the whistle should work and how it should be introduced. And it's just a common thing. So I've just been down here out at the malls walking these guys, and as a professional as a dog walker, I use a couple of whistles. I have a 210.5, I've also got 211.5, there isn't much difference in that, and I've got a 212 which is quite a bit louder. The pitch to most dogs in this case, they're not going to matter at all what the pitch is. The pitch will reach further than others, but all in all it's not really going to make that much of a difference. It's going to be more the pattern and the conditioning response to the sound of the whistle, to the pattern of the whistle is what's going to matter most. So there are a group of dog walkers that have just come in there, and all the way around this field I've just been able to hear a whistle going off. Beep, 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 beep. And the dog's coming back-ish and then just buggering off again. Now this isn't like I'm not having a do or like just taking the mick out of anybody. I'm just trying to point out a serious mistake that is being made. So this whistle is constantly going off, like all the time. So the whistle to a dog should mean, it should be either like a sequence of blasts. Usually I use either a 2-pip, I'll just go boop boop, or I'll use 4 pips. Sometimes, depending on the dog, bip 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 bip. But nice, loud, and a clear whistle, nice, loud, and response. And the dog's response to this whistle should to be stop what they're doing, get straight back to you, and stay by your legs, stay by your feet, and walk with you at least. So you're almost conditioning like a heel response if you're walking somewhere and you want the dog to walk with you. Or some people will train it, they just pick the whistle and it just means basically just come and sit at your feet until they're told to go otherwise. So that's like another thing that should really be introduced, is a release cue along with a recall. It's very important, and I think it's one thing that gets overlooked, is that when the dog is back with you, it doesn't go again until it's been released. Purely because if you don't do that, the dog will just come back, get its treat or whatever, and bugger off again. You need it to come and stay with you until it's told otherwise. It's just safety, and it's just the way that I feel a recall should be taught. So like I say, they're out there now and they were pipping the whistle constantly, and I mean, like every couple of seconds this whistle was going off. And the issue that I can see with this person that's constantly pipping this whistle is the dogs are just flying back and forth and then buggering off and doing whatever they want again, which is fine. But what's going to happen over time is that this whistle is good. They're just going to ignore the whistle. If it gets pipped every single time and all the time when nothing's actually happening, the dog's eventually going to learn that it's just a sound and there's no reward for this dog coming back. There's nothing. It's basically just sound to them. And eventually, if the dogs keep hearing this sound with no reward, no motivation or anything of the sort, eventually it'll just learn to ignore it, and your whistle will become absolutely redundant. It'll just be a noise to them, and then we'll just ignore it. And another key point, if you're constantly having to pip your whistle because your dog's out there for miles and it's not listening, you've got a base issue to worry about. The recall at this point is not really the main problem. If your dog is all the way out there and you're constantly pipping your whistle, or if it is coming back and it keeps buggering off again and it keeps going back and forth, and you're constantly blowing your whistle and it's just not staying with you, doing what you want, we've got other base issues. The base issue is it's not learning to walk with you, it's not learning to be a part of you. There's no reward, there's no motivation for it to be around you. We're just not interested enough. Whatever out there is more interesting enough. So my dogs do go far, but they don't go too far. And they do always, and I've always trained them to check in automatically, so they'll just come back and they'll just walk a heel for a while, and then I'll send them off again. And it's just something we've done since they were puppies. So if you do find yourself constantly pipping your whistle to try and get the dogs back, or you're constantly pipping the whistle and the dog's not listening, and it's too far away anyway, you've got a few base issues to worry about. There's more important things. You need to set a structure in place, you need to go back a few steps, and you're gonna have to reteach the whistle and reteach what it means to the dog to be near you. So yeah, it's just a few mistakes that I keep seeing, and I think people could benefit from understanding why this happens. So you just need to go back to basics, reteach the recall, reteach what it means to be next year, reteach the whistle, Yeah, and if the dog is learning to ignore the sound of the whistle, you're gonna have to change your whistle or change the pattern type. You know, if you're using 4 pips, go back to using 2 pips. Yeah, but like I say, definitely if this is happening to you, go back to basics, reteach the recall from a new position, and reteach what it actually means. Yeah.